Here's a masterclass on this new age of remote work, more specifically around how do you train these workers no matter where they live in the world. Remote work is becoming more and more prevalent. After going through a worldwide pandemic, more and more employees are really looking to have options where they can work from home. All the numbers say you can be more productive working from home. More and more workers love that. They don't want that commute. My wife, we also do a lot of remote work now. But the difficulty in doing so is making sure you have a team that understands what your strategies are to grow your business. What are your core values? And that can be difficult. What we have done at my company, SynsorMed, a digital health company that helps practices generate additional revenue and helps patients, is we're able to train our team no matter where they live. And more importantly, we embed them with our culture so they understand exactly what they need to do to be successful.
My name is Theo Harvey. I'm a serial entrepreneur that went from a lowly employee to CEO of a multi-million-dollar healthcare organization that I run from my home. I raised over $1 million from venture capitalists and other investors, and I work with large organizations like Cisco Systems, AT&T, Charles Barkley Organization, Blue Cross Blue Shield, and Google. My mission is to help healthcare professionals prepare for the new normal before it's too late.
Number one, you want to make sure you have consistent meetings. We have 3 meetings a week. We call them our hub meetings, where we have all the team members on there. And we just go rundown of all the different departments to make sure we understand what everyone is doing. This is a great time and opportunity where the cross conversations can happen. Having these consistent meetings ensures that we don't miss any gaps in the business. We do them all virtually via Zoom, but everyone can pipe in and kind of give their report to the rest of the team about the different departments. Also, we have weekly meetings with each department head to make sure they understand what their goals are and what metrics we're tracking their success with. Having these weekly meetings is so key because you get to understand exactly how they see the business, how you see the business, and where the gaps are. We do that consistently every week with each one of our team leads in each department. Finally, we think of doing something very different when it comes to these meetings. We try to have a quarterly fun meeting. Either this is in person, but a lot of times it can be virtual. Especially around holiday season, we've had holiday parties, a Christmas party virtually, right? Where we gave gifts and we communicate and talk to each other, giving speeches around what we're thankful for. The goal is to kind of create a sense of fun in a remote atmosphere. And that's so key when you have a remote team because everybody is in different time zones. And sometimes you just don't feel as connected if you don't have these type of meetings in virtual kind of environments. Those are some of the key things that we do to make sure the team stays integrated and combined to be successful. Secondly, creating standard operating procedures. Why is this important? I hated documentation, right, before I had a virtual team, but it's become so crucial because things change all the time. Having a sense of how everyone does their job is so critical for us now because now we understand what they need to do. If they bring on new team members, they know what our best practices are. And more importantly, we can find out where the process is broken if we run into issues with client complaints or other issues. Having documentation that shows exactly what each person should be doing, how we do our different processes, builds a sense of culture that is unparalleled. We've found that people have improved upon these documents. People have found new ways to adjust them. You'll be surprised at how these become living organisms if you really apply it and go back to it. And then also it's a good way to kind of troubleshoot and see how you can get better. Again, if you don't document it, you will never improve, right? Because people are not driven that way. And more importantly, you keep that institutional knowledge inside your corporation. A lot of times we find that people have a lot of information in their head, but they're just not communicating that effectively to each other. But having that written down somewhere so you can say, oh yeah, this is what I do and how I do it, and this is the steps. It makes it so much easier. So definitely you want to write that down. How do you do that? Definitely Google Drive is simple and easy. You can use that pretty quickly, but there's a host of other solutions out there that you can just post a document that just shows step by step, a guide, or even a wiki. We have a wiki for a support team where they have frequently asked questions, FAQs, to kind of help them through that process of helping patients when they use one of our devices or our technology. Key, make sure you have those standard operating procedures in place and be successful in using it. Finally, number 3, you want to make sure you record trainings consistently and often with your team. You do the trainings and that's great and wonderful, but you want to record them. Why? Because it does help to ensure that that lives on. So you can always go back weeks, months, even years to kind of see, how you've improved, how you communicate things, but more importantly, it helps a team to sense of how they want to communicate it. A lot of times communication is not so much what you say, but how you perceive your audience will receive it. So making sure they can communicate on camera clearly to the rest of the team, and that's going to be recorded, makes them pay attention more to what they're saying and make sure it impacts the most value. We've seen it in our cases where if we don't record it, sometimes the training is not as impactful. But once it's known that it's going to be recorded, it's going to be placed somewhere to be viewed by other folks, everyone takes that way more serious. They have outlines, they have a documentation, they have a PowerPoint, and they make sure it's all clear and concise. So when they communicate it, they know it's going to be the best information they have. But more importantly, just doing that much more effort makes them that much better in training. So the next time will be even better. You get that 1% increase daily. Great book, Atomic Habits, talks about this. You do a little bit every day, you get better every day. That has a cumulative effect for the whole team, so that training just becomes more ingrained into our culture. So by recording this is really key. So what do you use? Zoom is always great, easy to use tool, but Loom is another great tool where you can have a PowerPoint that you share with your face in the center at the bottom in a little circle, but at least there's some training material out there. And then the PowerPoints are also saved next to the training so people can download them and actually have written kind of guides and forms. But really the video is really important also, because think about it, you get more information when you have a video training as opposed to maybe audio or just a reading. You're using more of your senses, you're listening, you're watching, so you're gathering more information in real time. More importantly, you can also show, let's say you have new software, technology, you can actually pull that up on a video training and show exactly how that all works. So that's some of the things that we do when it comes to video training. If you are looking to build out your training, follow these 3 steps. First, you want to make sure that you have consistent meetings and make sure some of the meetings are fun. Second, you want to create standard operating procedures to make sure you have consistency across the corporation to ensure that everyone knows what they need to be doing. And third, you want to make sure you record those trainings so they can live on beyond the person that gave it, but more importantly, you elevate your team's ability to execute that training. Let me know if you want to try some of these suggestions and see how they work in your medical practice or organization as you do more and more remote work. And as always, please like, comment, and share this content as we all struggle to move forward in this new normal of healthcare.